On the most recent album, what was your role as a violinist?
My role as a violinist, well, it's just that, I'm just a violinist in Mariachi Sol de Mexico. I am section leader, but musical ideas all come from Jose. So it's just a matter of listening to what he wants from the section, and I'm here to deliver. So whatever he feels musically inclined to do with his music, I just follow the rules and just go towards that path.
So when you are interpreting the music on the studio recordings, how much of that is Adrian and how much of that is Jose?
I would say musical ideas is definitely a lot from Jose. And I bring in my personal experience, my technique that I've developed over the years. I think my job as a violinist in Sol is to, again, take those musical ideas and perform them a certain way, match with the technique, musicality, and put them together and offer that package.
How hands-on is Jose with you when you're recording?
Very, very hands-on. I mean, he's in the studio with us. He's in the same room, and he's constantly telling us how to play certain passages. He's very detailed when it comes to his music, when it comes to interpretation. Every bow stroke, every held note, we're very particular about following every indication that he gives us. And that's part of the magic of his music, of his arrangements, just being able to interpret them the way he likes us to.
And so when you're in the studio with him and the other violinists, do you feel the weight of the standard that he holds for you and the pressure that the jacket has?
Oh, definitely. I mean, we're here to leave a sense of each generation. We look at the generations that came before us in Sol de Mexico, and they've left beautiful recordings, beautiful performances that are forever engraved in people's minds on YouTube and everywhere. I grew up listening to Mariachi Sol de Mexico, so just like they left a little bit of something, we want to leave that same thing, a legacy, I should say.
How do you know that you've left that legacy after the recordings are mastered? How do you know that you did what you set out to do?
I think listening back to the recordings and just thinking, okay, every indication that Jose gave us, oh wow, it's there. Every little detail, we hear it once we hear the finished product, and we're like, oh, okay, now we get it. In the context of the whole ensemble, we're like, oh, this is why he chose to do this. It's a beautiful thing. It's a learning experience. It's always a learning experience. It makes us better performers live, because we're lucky enough to interpret that same music on stage live. So the same intent that we have in the recordings, we try to keep that same intent, those same details for when we perform it live.
When you are performing live, is there a difference in the way that you are playing the violin versus when you're in the studio?
When you're in the studio, you have to take care of, you could say, just be a little bit more careful about, bumping into different strings. You have to get as clean of a sound as possible, while still playing with the intent that Mariachi asks of you. Here in live, you get away with a lot more pull of the bow, a lot more scratchiness here and there. Especially, depending on the venue. If we're mic'd, you want to have that grit in the violin, because that grit actually helps project the sound of the violin over the trumpets, over the armonia. But yeah, we definitely have to be a little bit more careful, just to be a little bit more clean with our performance as we record.
As for the interaction with the audiences during the performances, how do you make sure that your interpretation corresponds with the mood of the song? How do you make sure that the audience understands that, okay, I'm playing a sad song and this is what that sounds like on the violin?
It all starts with us understanding it ourselves. So we're playing Amor Eterno. We're gonna play Amor Eterno thinking of the lyrics, thinking of what the lyric is saying at that exact time where we play a fill or when we play the intro. Always thinking, okay, this is Amor Eterno. Okay, hay que tocarla de esta manera. You know, so let's say we have a potpourri of 5 songs, like our potpourris de leyendas from our Leyendas album. You know, you get a very patriotic song, you get a laid back, maybe slow ranchera, you get maybe a bolero, and then you end up with a fast guapango. So you have to know the context of those 4 songs or 5 songs or whatever it is. Every song being a little bit different, you know, fitting the mood. So yeah, the way we play everything has to coincide with the context of the lyric, of the mood of the song, like you said.
Right. And then to conclude, once again, I wanted to ask about the Christmas tour. This year, you are embarking on the longest Christmas tour ever with 24 dates. How are you preparing to make sure that you and the violinist and everyone are ready to take on that task?
You know, it definitely takes a lot of preparation, especially when we have new members. No matter if it's one trumpet player, or one violinist, or one armonia player, it always takes a lot of rehearsal time and a lot of preparation in terms of playing as an ensemble. You know, yes, you're playing 24 concerts, and we're expected to play those 24 concerts as if it were just, you know, one super very prepared concert. You know, it's not the audience's fault, you know, that we're on our 24th concert and we're tired or we're sick or we're, you know, no. We have to perform always al cien, you know, or strive to always be on point. So yeah, definitely, you know, preparing the music as hard as we can. That's one thing. Taking care of ourselves health-wise, that's another thing. You know, just, you know, I don't know. Some of us are gonna probably end up getting the flu shots just in case, we don't, you know, we don't want to get sick during the tour. You know,
Right.
Little things. Descansar mucho.
Claro. ¿Qué le quieres dejar al público a través de esta gira de Mariachi Christmas? ¿Qué quieres que se lleven ellos a sus casas al concluir las presentaciones?
Pues lo que siempre queremos que sienta el público es que nosotros estamos representando la música más bella del mundo. Y la manera en que nosotros la interpretamos es para que lo sientan, para que lo sienta cada uno de esas personas que van a nuestros conciertos. Que sientan la pasión con la que nosotros tocamos esa música y la pasión con la que les ofrecemos al público. En nuestros conciertos no es extraño que veas al público bailando, riendo, llorando. O sea, todas esas emociones son bonitas emociones que yo creo que es muy bonito cuando un grupo te hace sentir de cierta manera y pues sí, o sea, que te lleves esa emoción contigo a tu casa después de vernos en esos conciertos.